According to Carl Jung's psychological insights, these 8 signs will help identify those who secretly hate you and might want to see you fail. Sign 1, they never support your wins. When someone genuinely cares about you, they celebrate your victories as if they were their own, showing enthusiasm, asking questions, and expressing authentic happiness for your success. However, those who secretly dislike you find it almost impossible to show genuine joy for your achievements. Watch for these revealing reactions. Quickly changing the subject after your good news, giving lukewarm congratulations before moving on, or completely downplaying your accomplishment with comments like, "Oh, anyone could have done that," or "You just got lucky." Jung observed this behavior stems from deep-seated envy. Your success triggers their insecurities, making it painful to acknowledge your achievements. They might worry your success somehow diminishes them or highlights their own perceived inadequacies. Remember that genuine support encompasses both your growth process and end results. Sign 2, they go out of their way to exclude you. Deliberate exclusion reveals significant negative feelings. When someone secretly dislikes you, they create situations where you're left out of events, conversations, or gatherings you would normally join. This rarely happens accidentally. You might notice friends suddenly making plans without telling you despite you usually being part of the group. Perhaps conversations abruptly change when you enter a room, suggesting they were discussing something they don't want you to hear. Jung recognized exclusion as a powerful form of social rejection. When someone purposely leaves you out, they're sending a clear message about your value while maintaining plausible deniability through excuses like, "Oh, I thought someone else invited you," or "It was just last minute." What makes this behavior particularly revealing is its pattern. Everyone occasionally forgets to include someone, but when the same person consistently forgets you, it shows intent rather than oversight. Sign 3, they compete with you over everything. While healthy competition can be motivating, there's a clear difference between friendly rivalry and someone who turns everything into a competition because they secretly resent you. Jung viewed excessive competitiveness as masking deep insecurity and resentment. When someone competes with you over virtually everything, from work achievements to personal milestones, social media engagement, or even trivial matters like parking spots, they're revealing a fundamental need to prove themselves superior. This behavior manifests when conversations consistently become opportunities for them to one-up you. Share a vacation story, and they immediately respond with details about their more exotic trip. Mention a challenge, and they interrupt with a bigger problem they've overcome. They can't allow you to have the spotlight, even momentarily. This stems from their perception of you as a threat rather than a friend. Every achievement or positive quality you possess feels like it diminishes them, creating an unconscious need to constantly establish dominance. Sign 4, they copy you just to outshine you. While imitation can be flattering, there's a distinction between being inspired by you and copying you specifically to outshine or replace you. This behavior reveals deep-seated resentment and envy. You might notice this person adopts your interests, style choices, or speech patterns shortly after you introduce them. Rather than acknowledging your influence, they present these elements as if they originated them, often claiming to be more authentic or skilled than you at your thing. For example, after you mention a new hobby, they suddenly become deeply involved in the same activity, but with expensive equipment or connections you don't have. Or they might repeat your unique perspectives to others as their own original thoughts, with the implicit message that anything you can do, I can do better. Jung would suggest this stems from a complex mixture of envy and identity insecurity. By appropriating what makes you unique or successful, they attempt to claim those qualities while diminishing your distinctiveness. Pay attention if they become dismissive of the very things they've copied from you, especially if you continue succeeding in those areas. This contradictory behavior, copying you while simultaneously devaluing what they've copied, clearly signals underlying negative feelings. Sign 5, they interrupt or talk over you constantly. Communication patterns reveal much about someone's true feelings. When someone consistently interrupts you, talks over you, or dismisses your contributions, they're demonstrating a fundamental lack of respect that often indicates deeper negative attitudes. Jung recognized that our communication habits reflect unconscious attitudes toward others. Someone who values you will make space for your voice, actively listen to your perspectives, and engage meaningfully with your ideas, even during disagreements. In contrast, someone harboring dislike will find it difficult to grant this basic courtesy. They might cut you off mid-sentence, redirect conversations away from topics you introduce, or visibly disengage when you're speaking. Even more revealing is their reaction when called out. Someone who respects you will typically apologize and improve, while someone with negative feelings might become defensive, deny the behavior, or even blame you for not being interesting enough. Jung would view this as an unconscious attempt to establish dominance and control the narrative. By interrupting, they're essentially communicating that your thoughts and perspectives don't matter as much as theirs, or perhaps don't matter at all. Sign 6, they bring up your past mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but there's a significant difference between occasionally referencing relevant past events and maintaining a detailed catalog of your failures to mention at strategic moments. Jung understood that our tendency to focus on others' mistakes often reveals more about our own psychological state. When someone consistently brings up your past errors or embarrassing moments, they're revealing a desire to define you by your worst moments rather than your growth. You might notice they have an uncanny memory for details of your mistakes from years ago while conveniently forgetting their own similar errors. They might introduce these memories often in front of others or during moments when you're feeling confident. What makes this particularly revealing is the context and timing. Someone who cares about you might mention past mistakes privately, compassionately, and constructively. But someone harboring negative feelings will often bring them up in public settings where you can't fully defend yourself, during unrelated discussions, when you're celebrating a success, or with exaggerated details that make the situation sound worse. According to Jung, this behavior often stems from unwillingness to acknowledge their own imperfections. By keeping your mistakes in the spotlight, they avoid confronting their own failures while undermining your confidence. Sign 7, they mock your passions or dreams. Our passions and aspirations represent our most vulnerable selves. When we share these elements, we're offering insight into what brings us joy and what we value most. Someone's reaction to these revelations powerfully indicates their true feelings toward you. Jung recognized that belittling someone's deepest interests is rarely about those dreams, it's about diminishing the dreamer. When someone consistently mocks or undermines what matters most to you, they're revealing a fundamental disrespect for your internal world. You might notice them making sarcastic comments about your interests, using dismissive language like, "That's just a hobby," or "You're not being realistic," or subtly rolling their eyes when you express enthusiasm. They might frame criticism as, "just being practical," or "helping you avoid disappointment," but these explanations rarely match their tone. What makes this behavior particularly revealing is its selective application. Someone who genuinely cares might occasionally express concern about specific aspects of your plans while supporting your overall direction and respecting your autonomy. This behavior often stems from their own unfulfilled desires or fears of being outshone. By dampening your enthusiasm, they create a world where pursuing dreams seems futile, justifying their own reluctance to take risks. Sign 8, they take credit for your ideas or efforts. The final sign is a tendency to claim credit for your contributions, ideas, or accomplishments. This behavior reveals an unwillingness to acknowledge your value and capabilities. Jung observed that our ability to recognize others' contributions reflects our authentic attitude toward them. Someone who respects you will naturally ensure you receive proper recognition, even when doing so brings them no direct benefit. In contrast, someone who secretly dislikes you may consistently claim ownership of your suggestions, present your efforts as their own, or subtly rewrite history to minimize your role in successful projects. You might notice them using phrases like, "as I was saying earlier," after you've introduced an idea, saying, "we," when describing a work you primarily completed alone, or directly restating your contributions without acknowledgement. This deliberately undermines your standing and reputation. By systematically claiming credit for your intellectual and practical contributions, they build their status at your direct expense, a zero-sum approach revealing profound underlying resentment. Remember that identifying these signs isn't about paranoia or assuming the worst in others. It's about honoring your experiences and intuition when someone's actions consistently demonstrate a lack of respect, support, or goodwill toward you. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe for more content on understanding human behavior and building healthier relationships. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and remember, you deserve relationships filled with genuine support and respect.